Connie, it's great to see you here in Cannes.
Oh, it's so great to be here.
This is your first time at the Cannes Lions Festival.
It is.
Why is it so important for you to be here? You're obviously a Goodwill ambassador for the United Nations Development Program.
Yes, exactly. And the United Nations Development Program asked me to come, and I thought, well, what am I going to be doing at Cannes Lion? But we are together introducing something that is so incredible and such a unique initiative called the Lion's Share Fund. And the Lion's Share Fund is really an opportunity for brands and advertisers to give back to the globe and doing so through the animals that we use in advertising. What I learned is that global advertisers use animals in over 20% of all the advertising that gets done, but those animals have never had any remuneration. And this is an opportunity for brands to give back to the animals that we care about so deeply. We care about them enough that brands use them in their advertising over and over and over again. So the UNDP and the Lion's Share Fund is asking brands, when they use animals in advertising, to devote 0.5% of all their media spend to conservation efforts and wildlife protection. It's a really, really simple and brilliant idea.
Connie, do you think, there are brands that obviously come on board already with Lion's Share, but do you think that there are others that might be too worried about profit margins?
You know, I imagine that there are probably brands who could end up thinking, 0.5% of our media spend is too much to contribute to something like this. But I feel that we are in a new phase where brands and consumers really want to have purpose. We want to know that we can have impact in the work that we're doing. And this is actually, if you want to talk about profit margins, this is such a small percentage of those profit margins, and it would create such a huge impact, and consumers care about that.
Connie, why do you care about it so much? Why is this such a personal cause for you?
Well, I've been working with the UNDP now for 5 years, and I'm incredibly passionate about poverty eradication around the globe and the global goals. We really, there are a series of goals that we want to establish by 2030 in terms of really eradicating poverty around the globe. In order to be able to do that, we have to address the climate crisis that we're in right now. And biodiversity and animal extinction is an enormous part of that. So by fighting this imminent extinction that we see, over 100 million plants and animals are at risk of going extinct in a very brief period of time. So if we can address that situation, then that will not only save the planet, but it will also really play into the world economy.
When did you decide to use your platform as a famous actress to make a difference, Connie? Because of course, you have fans around the world with Nashville, very recently with Dirty John, throughout your career. When did you think, right, actually, I'm now going to use this?
Well, I'll tell you a secret. I decided back when I was in college and I was deciding what I was going to do with my life, and I always dreamed of being an actress, but it didn't seem very realistic. But I had a strong feeling that I wanted to do social good and to work for social justice and to give voice to the voiceless. And I had an instinct that the best way for me to do that is to pursue my own goals and my own dreams as an actor. And by doing so, that could help me to have a voice for those who don't. And if you're thinking about the Lion's Share Fund, of course, animals don't have a voice. So for me, I've dedicated so much of my life to giving voice to the voiceless. And being able to do that now for animals feels like a really important thing to do.
Connie, you also, in 2011, you adopted your son in Ethiopia. How life-changing was that for you?
Well, becoming a parent is life-changing for everybody. And I was really fortunate because I was able to adopt my son from Ethiopia, and it has been the most incredible teacher and the most incredible joy and the most incredible challenge of my life. And every aspect of my life has changed for the better.
And what are the most concerning factors for you in terms, I know you do a lot of work with women and girls and how concerned you are in terms of the opportunities they have around the world. What are the biggest challenges, do you think?
When we can really push toward gender equality, toward women having power, toward women being able to sustain their livelihoods, the livelihoods of their families, of their children, it impacts communities, it impacts economies, it impacts the globe. So for me, obviously, women represent 50% of the population of the world, and yet, of course, women have been marginalized throughout history. So women are literally a resource. They're a resource for all of us around the globe to actually lift up the economies, and also women can contribute enormously to the global climate crisis. And if we really empower women into sustaining programs, it just watch what happens.
Connie, I must ask you also, because you had a huge success with Dirty John that was produced at Netflix. How do you think that has changed from your perspective as an actor, the different platforms now? How important is it for you to be associated with a Netflix?
Well, yeah, Netflix is incredible. I mean, they really, one of the things that I've really noticed about Netflix, aside from the broad reach of the programming, is how global it is. It's really fun for me to come here to Cannes and to have so many people say, "Oh, I just watched Dirty John." That doesn't happen with everything, and certainly hasn't happened with everything that I've done. A lot of the things that I've done have sort of stay focused in the United States, and so to have that kind of global reach, I think is incredibly valuable, and for me as an artist, it really it makes me feel even more passionate about the kind of storytelling that we can do. When you have that kind of reach, we can really tell stories where we reflect cultures out to themselves, and that can be very powerful.
And what would you like the message to be here at Cannes Lions for the lion's share?
For me, I love the idea that Cannes Lions has really become a place where brands and advertisers can come and talk about purpose. And if we're thinking about purpose as we move forward in the work that we're doing, the Lion's Share Fund is such a great and simple opportunity to make an impact. And so and we've already seen advertisers are really jumping to do this, and I think that consumers are going to really get on board too and say, "Oh, I want to work with you. I want to buy your product because I love what you're doing for the animals and for the environment."
Connie, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm James Wright, and thanks for watching Marketing Media Money. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thanks for watching.